Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Anetta Felix. We begin in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, where Boko Haram insurgents have attacked the convoy of the state governor, Kashim Shettima. The state governor was traveling from Maiduguri to Gamborungala when the insurgents struck. The attack forced the fleet of vehicles to change direction and search for cover. Meanwhile, no details have been provided on the casualty figure from the attack. The insurgents group, in the space of 9 years, have caused havoc in the northeast region, killing thousands of people and displacing millions of others. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has issued a bench warrant ordering the arrest and arraignment of the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen. At the resumed hearing of the case against Onnoghen on Wednesday, counsel to the federal government urged the court to order the arrest of former Chief Justice Onnoghen. The prosecution hinged its application on the continued absence of Onnoghen in the court to take his plea on the matter. Onnoghen is standing trial on 6 charges bordering on non-declaration of assets. Ruling on an application, a 3-man panel of the tribunal ordered the police and the Department of State Services to arrest Onnoghen and bring him to court before Friday. Meanwhile, the National Judicial Council has set up a 5-man panel to further probe the response of Onnoghen and the acting Chief Justice, Mohammed Tanko, to petition leveled against them.
Another calm day at the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Abuja. The matter started on a light mood and no one expects anything more than the usual application and counter affidavit, more so that the matter is before the appeal court. The witness box was empty as usual, but everything changed when the tribunal chairman, Danladi Umar, issued a bench warrant for the arrest of the defendant. Efforts by the defense counsel, Adegboyega Womolo, did not persuade the court to change its mind. The defense counsel reminded the court that it had filed an application to contest the jurisdiction of the tribunal to hear the matter. Prosecution counsel Aliyu Umar explained why he moved the application for the arrest of Walter Onnoghen, while defense counsel Adegboyega Womolo said he has no comment on the court's decision.
I asked for a bench warrant because consistently, even when we have said that we respect him, he refused to come. And that is why. And he is a defendant like any other defendant. The independence of the judiciary is what the common man will perceive, not what the elites or the government think is the independence of the judiciary. If the common man thinks that it is because he is the CJN, that was why we were not asking for bench warrant, then the whole system will collapse. And that's why it's a sad duty, but I have to do it.
I have nothing to say.
Can you not appeal to this?
No. If you recommend that I should appeal, I will.
No, I'm asking.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
The matter has now been adjourned till February 15, 2019 for further hearing. Oyi Adekunle, TV360 Nigeria.
3 days to the presidential election, candidates across 73 political parties have signed an accord to uphold peace before, during, and after the polls. Leading the group is President Muhammadu Buhari, who is seeking a 2nd term in office, and major opposition candidate Atiku Abubakar.
To all our citizens, I want to thank you. As we go into elections in few days' time, please let us pray for our country. Let us use this opportunity to strengthen our beliefs in a united country. Our elections are important only to the extent that they make our country peaceful and prepare us for development. I am making a special appeal to our young people. Do not allow yourselves to be used to cause violence. Peace eschew all forms of violence. Please eschew all forms of violence and cooperate with all the relevant agencies during these elections. We will vote according to parties, but in the end, the only real party is Nigeria, our country.
In this context, I appeal once again to every staff and the leadership of the independent National Electoral Commission, and the Nigeria Police and other security agencies to be fair arbiters in the upcoming elections while letting neutrality prevail. For emphasis, and in the spirit of fair play, I also urge our security agencies not to embark on indiscriminate arrests of members of opposition or their supporters 24 to 48 hours before elections, as has been the case in previous by-elections.
Why this meeting is crucial is because it has been shown that wherever it takes place, political party dialogue has always contributed to the effective peace building, democratization, and development. First, the election itself will not hold in the absence of a peaceful atmosphere. Second, and equally important, governance after the election will be impossible without a peaceful environment.
Ahead of the presidential poll, more groups have continued to pledge support for their preferred candidates. The Peace Ambassadors of the Niger Delta, a group of former militants, on Wednesday endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari for a second presidential term. The group, at a press conference in Port Harcourt, say the endorsement is born out of Buhari's development of the Niger Delta. The group, led by Ben Ebikawobe, lauded the APC-led government for not scrapping the presidential amnesty program for Niger Delta, despite pressure from some quarters. Now, this is the latest among dozens of groups that has endorsed Buhari for a second term. Now, with less than 72 hours to the end of campaigns for the presidential polls, the opposition People's Democratic Party has taken its campaign train to Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar, at a rally at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Onikon, Lagos, is promising to create more jobs and restructure the country if elected. Fidelia Aguncha has that story.
Emmanuel here is one of Nigeria's 43 million unemployed youth. After years of graduating from higher institution, this young man has had no luck in his search to secure a good-paying job.
Before you get a job in Nigeria, it's very difficult, because you may get a lot of some company when you submitted your CV. By the time you submitted your CV, what they will tell you, I will get back to you. After your interview, you'll be expecting call. From there, you will not hear anything. From there, so you'll be keep on searching. It will take you like 3 to 4 years.
With Nigeria's general elections just days away, Emmanuel says his vote most definitely will go to the candidate who has the best plan to empower youth like himself.
I would like to vote a president that wants to empower the Nigeria, that will create more jobs for us.
Presidential candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, at this rally in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, says people like Emmanuel are one of the reasons why he's vying for the #1 position in the country. Aside job creation, Atiku says he has bigger plans for the entire country.
I promise Nigerians that I am going to create jobs. I have already been creating jobs, and I will create these jobs for you. APC said they are going to create jobs. They have been losing jobs, and we have the largest unemployment in the history of our country. These are not people you can trust.
To support his presidential bid is party stalwart and Senate President Bukola Saraki, who is urging Nigerians to support the Atiku Obi train.
Today we are here in the commercial capital of Nigeria. We are here because we know the value of our candidate Atiku Abubakar. When you vote for Atiku Abubakar, you vote for a better economy. When you vote for a better economy, you vote for jobs for the youth. When you vote for jobs for the youth, you vote for money and prosperity for all of you.
Latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that unemployment in Nigeria stood at 23.10% in the third quarter of 2018, up from the 22.70% figure seen in the second quarter of the same year. A decline in this figure will indeed be a dream come true for Emmanuel.
I'll be very grateful because when you create a more job, the threat of Nigeria will reduce. No more all criminal, no more yahoo yahoo, so no more beggar in Nigeria. People will be getting job.
Despite having a criteria for selection, making up his mind on who to elect come Saturday, February 16, might be a difficult task for Emmanuel, as the two forerunners in the presidential race, incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari and opposition Atiku Abubakar, have promised to, among other things, focus on job creation and youth empowerment. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Nigeria.
Meanwhile, ahead of the poll, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, has announced that accredited election observers will not be allowed to grant media interviews. Yakubu said this at a national briefing for accredited observers in Abuja. The Commission also stated that it has so far accredited 119 domestic and 35 foreign observer groups to monitor the conduct of the general elections. Also at the event was the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, who advised members of the observer groups to always wear their accredited tags during the execution of the attacks. In other news, the National Human Rights Commission says it will summon Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai to defend an alleged hate speech credited to him. The Commission said this during a press briefing in Abuja on three key issues of electoral violence, IDP's participation in polls, and hate speech ahead of the 2019 elections. Our TV360's Abisola Adebayo now reports.
It is days to the election and there is a little upbeat in the polity. Politicians are still in the attitude of using hate speech while campaigning, while dissemination of fake news still calls for concern. That is the reason for this media briefing by the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. Tony Ojukwu, who is the Executive Secretary of the Commission, says there are still lots of issues that threatens the success of the 2019 polls, but the Commission is set to address many of these issues.
The Commission conducted a survey by the administration of questionnaires across the country. The outcome of this survey revealed, amongst others, that out of 80% of respondents who attended or watched political party rallies and campaigns, 58% witnessed incidences of violence during political rallies and campaigns. 84% of respondents confirmed that hate speech and fake news are spread through print and electronic media, while 83% responded that social media platforms such as blogs, Facebooks, WhatsApp are mostly used to spread hate speech and fake news.
The Commission said it has extended invitation to the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, over the hate speech credited to him recently. Ojukwu said the Commission is worried about eating up the system and will want the Governor to explain the statement, which is considered anti-human rights.
The Commission has also written to the Governor of Kaduna State to explain the circumstances surrounding that statement. In line with our complaint treatment mechanism, if we feel anybody has made a statement that is violative of human rights principles, we must give that person a fair hearing. So we have written to the Executive Governor of Kaduna State to explain the circumstances in which he made that statement.
The Kaduna State Governor had earlier threatened to take actions against foreigners who interfere in Nigeria's politics. The comment had generated mixed reactions from political stakeholders across parties. The National Human Rights Commission will not just tackle fake news, but will go a step to ensure peace before, during, and after elections. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 Nigeria.
Still on the forthcoming elections, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has been calling on Nigerians to embrace peace. The Director General of the agency, Garba Abari, speaking in Abuja, also urged Nigerians to verify the source of information before sharing it to avoid inflaming tensions in the polity.
It has therefore become imperative to appeal to all Nigerians, irrespective of political persuasion, to tow the path of peace in the remaining days leading up to the elections, as well as during and thereafter. We must be conscious at all times of the fact that we must have a country before we can practice democracy or engage in politics at all. We have no other country but Nigeria, and therefore cannot afford to set the roof over our own heads on fire. If we do, we will burn with it, and neither the president nor posterity will acquit us. Moreover, no political ambition is worth the blood of any Nigerian. Hence, the need to keep the peace before, during, and after the elections. In this era of fake news, the media must be up and doing and be circumspect in what they publish, in what they broadcast, in what they send out. There is very little one could do about the onslaught of the social media, because it is a medium that is very difficult to regulate. But even as that, we are calling on all Nigerians to first and foremost, before sending out any information, verify the source, be convinced as to its authenticity and its factuality.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has announced that it would reward any Nigerian with useful information on vote buying in the forthcoming elections. In a statement by its spokesperson, Tony Orilade, the EFCC said the reward was in accordance with the whistleblowing policy. Orilade stated that there are existing laws in the Electoral Act 2010 which forbids voter inducement. Quoting Section 124 of the Electoral Act 2010, the EFCC said that any person found paying money to the electorate is liable to punishment of 500,000 naira fine or 12 months imprisonment, or both upon conviction. The anti-graft agency is also urging Nigerians to resist inducement from corrupt politicians and vote for the candidates of their choice. The Accident Investigation Bureau has released the preliminary report on the helicopter accident involving the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Commissioner of the Bureau, Akin Olateru, who revealed this, said that one of the factors that led to the crash was a loss of visual contact with the ground due to a blowout, which is caused by landing in a dry and sandy environment. He, however, said that investigation was still ongoing. A helicopter conveying the Vice President to a campaign rally in Kogi State had crash-landed in Kaba on February 2nd, with all the occupants escaping unhurt. The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, has signed the Violence Against Persons Bill into law to address all forms of violence and protect vulnerable members of the society. The signing of the bill follows the emergence of an online video showing a young lady being assaulted.
This video of a young girl stripped and tortured with pepper as she cries for help broke the internet earlier this month. She was alleged to have stolen her boyfriend's phone after the lodge in a hotel in Benin City, Edo State. The video, which has left many social media users outraged, sparked these protests by concerned women in the state. Among them are legal practitioners, medical practitioners, government appointees, civil society organizations, NGOs, and market women. Armed with placards bearing various inscriptions, the women marched to the office of the Commissioner of Police in the state.
We need to have a certain squad, a special squad that looks into this particular area. Women are daily dehumanized. We have several examples, several videos which have been communicated to some of your men, where we have young girls stripped naked for no just cause. This issue of jungle justice, taking laws into your hands, must stop.
But what we want is to ensure, particularly in the justice sector, that justice is truly done. And so we will want you to aid us by ensuring that we have the right investigation.
On our part now, we make sure that we do a thorough investigation, that cases taken to court on this one will not be thrown out like a pack of cards. And that will now serve as deterrence to others.
From there, they moved to the Edo State Government House, where they were received by the Edo State First Lady, Betty Obaseki, who led them to the Governor, Godwin Obaseki.
Anywhere you see or find any injustice, any evil act being meted to any human being, especially to a woman and a child, you as women in Edo State must stand up and shout and make a lot of noise and trouble until it ends. This speaks to the degrading of womanhood. It's not just about one girl or two girls or a few girls who were molested. For a video meant to carry out such an act against a human being and video it, the act of even videoing such a thing and getting it viral all over the world is a huge insult to womanhood.
If you recall, when we found out that some pupils were being molested by their guardians or wards parents, we took very, very swift actions. And in our curriculum, particularly with Edo Best, we are very, very actively surveilling our classes to ensure that we pick out and fish out children who are abused at home and children who are emotionally disturbed. We're extending that with the aid of the VAP, the Violence Against Persons Law, which you have proposed or sponsored through FIDA. And we believe that when this law is in place, we will equally ensure that it's given its full effect.
The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Kabiru Ajuto, presented the new Violence Against Persons Bill. The Violence Against Persons Law will address all forms of violence, among which a wife battery, rape, forceful ejections from home, abandonment of children, incest, among others. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV360, Nigeria.
We'll take a break here and we'll return with more. Do stay with us.
It's another important time in our country's history.
When we head to the polls to decide our future.
You and I have the power to choose our leaders, but we can only do this when we exercise our right to vote. Every single vote matters, and I mean yours.
Don't sell your power.
Say no to vote buying. Say no to electoral violence. This message was brought to you by
TV360 Nigeria.
You're welcome back, and it's time now for the business aspect of the news. And there are very interesting developments in the world of business, and we have Oyin Adekunle to break those down for us. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Aneta.
So what's making headlines in business today?
Yeah, Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, is maintaining a steady rise. The federal government had predicted that the GDP would grow to 2% in 2018, but the actual GDP capped at 1.92%, fueled by the oil and gas sector, mining, services, and agriculture, among others. For 2019, the World Bank forecasts a GDP growth of 2.2%, while the federal government projects a 3% increase. Financial analyst Gabriel Idaosa says that Nigeria's GDP is expected to grow if the government focuses on diversifying the economy and more. Take a listen.
Agriculture survived the threats from security. A couple of states that were not producing during the height of the issues in the Northeast started producing. So agriculture picked up generally in the Northeast. Also in the Niger Delta, the amount of agriculture that happens there also picked up because there was also peace in the Niger Delta. So generally you saw agriculture picked up. Then you also saw oil and gas picking up a bit, but not so significantly. So those are the two essential sectors. And of course services, which is about 52% of the entire GDP, continues to do well generally, from entertainment to banking. So it's cool that the improvement did not come from mostly one sector. So you were seeing it's been fairly widespread.
The federal government has released the new National Debt Management Framework for 2018 to 2022. The Debt Management Office says the document is a reference as well as a compendium of Nigeria's key debt management policies, strategies, and frameworks. The DMO also says the document was designed to ensure that government's borrowing activities were conducted in accordance with statutory provisions and regulations, as well as international best practices. The third framework is expected to guide the activities and operations of Nigeria's public debt management during the 4-year period. Stock market review is up next right after this break. Please stay tuned. After 9 days of extended gains, the bears appeared on the floor of the Nigeria stock market today as the all-share index depreciated by 0.15% and to close at 32.413 basis points. Driving the losses in today's market are actually the oil and gas sector. Driving the losses, like I said earlier, the oil and gas sector, consumer goods, and banking sectors. Unfortunately for Seplat Petroleum Development Company today, it could not maintain its gains from yesterday. As we can see, it's leading the pack of laggards and closing at 3.33% decline. It is also followed by Forte Oil, PZ Cousins, and Guarantee Trust Bank. On the flip side, we see that the gainers are led by Unilever and Okomo Oil Palm PLC also saw a rebound today, which pushed it to top gainers chart after loss recorded from previous sessions. As we can see, a 2.8 naira gain actually left it to close at 3.41%. It was also a good day for Nigeria Breweries and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria. Moving forward, we see that in total today, in summary, the total volume of shares traded was 470 million, valued at over 4 billion naira. And those were exchanged actually in 5,858 deals. And also on the global stock, we see that it's all green on the global scene today. The FTSE is in the green again today, the third time this week actually, with a 0.81% rise, same as Dow and Nikkei, both closing at 0.31% and 1.34% respectively. That's all on the stock market report today. It's back to you, Aneta.
Thank you, Oyin. And I'm particularly interested with the Nigerian stock market. I mean, look, your report, you mentioned 9 straight streak of, the bulls dominating the market, and we see that it's going southward today. 22 stocks dragging down, 22 equities actually dragging down the Nigerian stock market, led by that oil and gas sector. We see that the activities of profit takers can actually be very influential on how the stock market eventually turns out.
Of course, we're optimistic that this will change in coming days.
And just maybe. So we'll take a break here and we'll return with more stories. Just stay with us.
When last you vote?
Oh yeah. When last you vote for the person where you get for mind say go sabi work?
Not be person will find you something, no?
Okay now, you register to vote?
So you don't collect your PVC?
I beg. Make we not be like Esau. We're selling bet right though.
Make we shine our eyes this election period. Make we stamp only people we will know say then get better mind for Nigeria. This message.
TV360 Nigeria.
5 people have died after a small plane carrying passengers from Kenya's Masai Mara Nature Reserve crashed in the west of the country. The police chief in the region who confirmed the crash say the Cessna plane was heading to Lodwar near Lake Turkana before it crashed. In June last year, a plane belonging to the Flytax airline crashed on the edge of the Aberdares mountain range, leaving 10 people dead. Though Kenya has a vibrant airline industry, with national airline Kenya Airways operating internationally and locally, it still records cases of air mishaps. Now turning to sport, UEFA have charged Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain for crowd trouble during Tuesday's last 16 first leg clash at Old Trafford. United faced 2 charges after their supporters were accused of blocking stairways and throwing objects during the game, which ended 2-0 in favour of PSG. Meanwhile, PSG have been hit by 4 different counts, with the travelling fans alleged to have set off fireworks, thrown and damaged objects, along with other crowd disturbances. Former United winger Angel Di Maria had a bottle thrown at him during the match on his first return to Old Trafford since leaving for PSG in 2015. And it's a wrap right here on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Thanks for watching. Do log on to our website at www.tv360nigeria.com for more. Bye for now. I am Aneta Felix.